Easipay finally reaches Manus. Corrections discuss challenges. And longest-serving policewoman speaks.
This is National EMTV News with Helen Sayer.
Good evening and welcome to Monday's news. State-owned entity PNG Power is now rolling out the Easipay system to Manus for the first time. This gives PNG Power customers in Manus full purchasing power. It also brings to an end the use of the old credit meter billing system.
PNG Power is changing old credit meters in Manus and replacing them with Easipay meters to make electricity service accessible and customer-friendly. A new Easipay customer, Noel Bull, said the new system is better because consumers have had issues with the old credit meters, with electricity bills soaring sky high and customers finding it difficult to settle their bills.
Fridge or use rice cooker or when I'm saying bills I got a plant here. Na time black look more welcome to la Mibla some months actually people pay some really pay. So time look lana me dog hey. Money no me no in bill to masia. How many want our sema? Easipay is nice. Because time play you see me go na it go more me will come down. I'm like oh yes, play cat so 45 units or maybe 10 or maybe 50 units are better. So must go buy can come 80 can go down. So that at the same time you are controlling your consumption wrong. Probably same time you only use him slide, you only budget.
The project started on September 19 and PPL wants to ensure all customers are converted to Easipay. Manus has over 1,200 customers and PPL has a target to install Easipay meters for all. Customer Mr. Bull also encouraged other customers to have the new Easipay meters installed in their homes. PPL manager Lorengao Brian Masange said a notice was issued to customers and he was happy to note that many of them are settling their outstanding bills for Easipay meters to be installed. PPL Lorengao has recovered more than 500,000 kina in September alone. The rollout is expected to be completed by the end of October. Deli Waigeno, National EMTV News.
Provincial jail commanders and regional assistant commissioners from the Correctional Service are planning major activities for the force come 2017. The workshop began this morning and will end on Friday. Rural lockups, jail relocation and overcrowding in prisons are some of the challenges the correctional officers will be discussing.
The Correctional Services is responsible for the detention and rehabilitation of convicts. Since its establishment in 1967, provincial jails were set up to perform this role. However, in recent years, more focus has been given to the detention rather than the rehabilitation. Stephen Pokamis, the Deputy CS Commissioner for Corporate Affairs, says a large sum of the money allocated to CS is used for accommodating and very little is budgeted for rehabilitation programs. The same challenge is faced across the country in all provincial jails. This is the first CS workshop that has brought together all jail commanders, including regional commissioners. Part of the discussions will be on budget review for 2017 and the rural lockup programs in selected provinces. Thekla Gunga, National EMTV News.
Non-government organization WK Kiddie Peace and Good Plus Sindan Foundation has begun its prison visit program. Recently, the organization visited the Bomana prison with the message of peace. The visit is the first, with plans to carry out similar programs in other state correctional institutions in the country. A peace flag was presented to the heads of the Bomana Correctional Institute for this significant visit. Over 100 inmates attended the program.
Think good. Kelly good. no straight plan and ice road. By helping you, na helping Nanapla. You want to really live your life out there in peace. And peace and key blow you, no life. Now you make it work some I agenda blow you now today. You sing out in new plan.
Lay police have met with community leaders and the two factions involved in a clash at the Banana Block last month. The mediation held yesterday was to allow both parties to come to an understanding and to end the clash and restore normalcy in the community. Chief Sergeant James Luan says a preventive order given to the two sides still stands.
The preventive order is enforced on any illegal sale of alcohol, threats, intimidation, harassment, and fighting between the two parties. During the mediation, both sides agreed not to compensate one another for the injuries caused and damages done to their properties, but agreed to apologize over what had already happened.
The clash erupted between two ethnic groups at the Banana Block. As a result, several houses were torched and a man was injured. It was alleged that the fighting started when an intoxicated man provoked a number of men from the other faction. The men who were provoked then attacked the intoxicated man. It was there that the fighting escalated when relatives from the two sides joined in the clash.
Those affected by the clash have returned to Banana Block. Police will be patrolling this section of the road to monitor drunkards or any person drinking and causing disturbances in the area. There will be no informal markets after 8 p.m. every night. Any person caught selling goods after 8 p.m. will be arrested and charged. The community leaders and the two groups have agreed to meet again this Sunday for peace reconciliation.
Especially to bring peace between these two sides and look at how they can say sorry to each other and look at
Matalubis, National EMTV News, Lay.
NCD and Central Divisional Commander Sylvester Kalaut says the eviction of the 94-year-old man last week at Hohola in Port Moresby is legal. In a media statement, Commander Kalaut said the eviction was conducted as per a Port Moresby District Court order issued on the 9th of September this year. He explained that the new property owner Frank Kangu attained the property in 2010 but was not able to move since then. Kangu then filed proceedings in court and won the property title at the Waigani National Court. Meanwhile, the evicted family maintained that no proper court documents were served to them on the morning of the eviction. With 39 years under her belt as a policewoman, Chief Sergeant Maria Yuga says women have the potential to lead the force by taking posts in senior levels. In an exclusive interview today with EMTV News, Maria Yuga says women can play a critical role in shaping the force and maintain law and order in the country. Despite challenges, Sergeant Yuga says more women are passing through the ranks despite men dominating the recruitment process.
This year marks 39 years of Maria Yuga serving as a police officer. With the force celebrating 120 years of existence 2 days ago, the Chief Sergeant believes women have a special role in helping the male folk to improve law and order in the country.
Handling all complaints, all problems, desla. Milukimosem all Mary talk one time more, only understanding more.
Maria was among 11 other women enlisted at Bomana Police College in July 1977, and after 6 months of training, she became one of the first women to serve the force.
Some 12 women were recruited, into the police force that have actually formed a core basis of our women's strength in the Royal Papua New Guinea.
She has served in various sections of the force, including public safety, forensic, criminal investigation and communications. Her encouragement to women is to be the difference working alongside men.
This la work, I mean, on the strong la work. You like joining police force, you must strong la Mary, lo stand up strong, na walk side by side one time man.
The Chief Sergeant told EMTV News she is eyeing retirement in the next 14 months, but wants to see the force advance with more emphasis in capacity building for police women. There are more than 700 police women serving the force throughout the country in various ranks and sections. Jack Lapave Jr., National EMTV News.
In the Kande by-election, as of last night after the count 10, Don Pollier was leading with 4,244 votes. His runner-up in the 2012 national election, Alfred Manasseh, is running second with 1,175 votes. The recounting is still in progress with 20 boxes counted so far. A total of 62 boxes were identified for the recounting. Enga Provincial Police Commander George Kakas has assured the public in Enga that recounting of the Kandep seat is progressing well with tight security. When we come back, nurses prepare for symposium. New learning facilities in Chimbu and Western Highlands and Pogera moves from mining to agriculture. Stay with us. Welcome back. The Papua New Guinea Nurses Association will be hosting its 13th annual National Symposium in Lae starting next Monday. The symposium is an avenue for nurses in the country to learn from each other their work and hardships faced. This year's theme is Nurses, a Force for Change through Public-Private Partnership.
The PNG National Nurses Association made the announcement of the symposium today at a media conference. Dr. Nancy Boasi, head of Nursing Division at UPNG, said this will benefit nurses in rural areas. She said rural nurses need to know the updated resources available.
It's basically for the improvement of the nursing care that we implement in our clinical settings.
At the symposium, nurses will present their research papers and stakeholders such as the health department will release information and promote policies. Disaster and crisis management lessons will also be presented at the gathering.
Few nurses going to do masters, PhD, and they come back to the country, but the bulk of the population, the nurses, are still out there and they are not updated to the current information. And one of the things is the research presentation, which we organize every year for nurses to attend.
The PNG Nurses Association is calling on all the chief executive officers of the hospitals and program managers to make funding available for their nurses to attend this one-time event. Furthermore, they are looking at getting 600,000 kina funding to host the event.
Our appeal still stands. We still need funding. We need a funding of more than 600,000, which at the moment is less than that. And we're still appealing how to sponsors. If they could come on the last minute, we will really appreciate that.
Fascinata Yama, National EMTV News.
Landowners in the 1.2 billion Turubu oil palm project in Easipay are threatening to shut down the project. Yesterday, the landowners petitioned the national government and Easipay provincial government, issuing a 7-day ultimatum. The petition calls for the national government to immediately rectify the now cancelled SABL portion 144C and ensure the project goes ahead. This follows the recent national and Supreme Court decisions cancelling SABL portion 144C and effectively returning the 10,000-hectare land back to customary landowners. Sinisine Yongomul MP Karangakua says modernizing learning facilities will improve the level of education in the country. Mr. Kua says despite the remoteness of schools, better learning technology is key to a child's learning process. He made this statement while opening a library and computer lab in his district recently.
In his recent visit to the Sinisine Yongomul district of Simbu province, elected MP Karangakua joined his people to open a library and computer lab. Thrilled and grateful, the locals celebrated to hail this new learning facility that has been the topic of discussion in the community for the past 10 years.
Now you may concentrate, now you may modernize him, or get a facility. So that kind man, lo se damandam ya ne mi talk, all mangilo ya, all mas equal to all mangilo, erimalo pot must be. Must be ting na vision governments come up too. Must start with right quality infrastructure.
Despite being a rural school, my primary is the first to have a fully equipped computer lab and library.
So we plan this in Bugia, or get elementary to primary to high school now. So that one day you embarrass one of memory, some memory stuff in the town, all speak English, read book, all in computer, that's all my do embarrass one and Papa Nini.
In a separate event, Parua Primary School witnessed the launch of a newly built double classroom in Ningolguma village. Deputy Headmaster Simon Kouris says this facility will help given the increase in student enrollment and limited funding received by the school.
We two planted it, now two planted, now office one planted it, office one planted. Now then, now 10,000 sleep was lost, now crap, now complete anytime looks like 10 before next year, I'll chatting about museum.
Jack Lapave Jr., National EMTV News.
A school that was established from a turn of events has provided education to a local community in the Mole district of Western Highlands Province. However, since its establishment, Yaraka Primary School has not seen much infrastructure development since then. Member for Mulbaya Koi Trape presented 2 new classrooms and a teacher's house at a combined cost of more than 600,000 kina.
It was a day of celebration for the Yaraka Primary School in Mole District, who gathered at the school for the opening of the new classrooms and teacher's house. This is the first time for the primary school to receive new classrooms after 27 years of its establishment.
Lo light below me blood. I'm important something. Know what education and know what savvy and become a country, you know, now change. Now know what some change back come up. So you got privilege long, you got one good still classroom and stop. And no na background. And costing me long 250,000 kina. And no one legal money. It's a big money. Now partnership one time Australian aids through provincial government and teachers house, Narabalapo in one classroom and stuff. And teachers house na one time all classroom and costing me also somewhere around 600,000 to 700,000.
During the presentation, the Yaraka Primary School was said to be renamed to Kerewa Poki Primary School after its founder. The school holds a special place for the people of Mul. It was built after continuous tribal conflicts that destroyed schools in the area. Mr. Trape also presented 10,000 kina to Munimp Elementary, another 10,000 to Kombungri Elementary, and 30,000 kina to the SDA Church Ministry.
You may get problem, but we are going to achieve it. Why? But you may achieve it because Pikirini Blilo Sala High School and 35 sit down. Pikirini Lay 100 inside the classroom. Pikirini Goroka 80 by stuff inside the classroom. Pikirini Southern Highlands 90. Western Highlands, 35 kids in a classroom, they get better education than the guy who's got 90 kids in the classroom. This like vision belong Koi, vision belong me, vision belong all the good plaman Mary Loye, that you will like change him. So Embol sample a big program.
There are 32 primary schools in the district that receive government services. This also covers distribution of 12,000 school uniforms for the students in the area. Mulbaya DDA is also working towards building a data collection of the school children in all levels. Merlin Diaukatam, National EMTV News.
The Papua New Guinea Forest Authority has signed 3 memorandums of understanding with communities in the Highlands region. The MOUs were signed in line with the PNGFA's Operation Painim Ground, Naplanim Diwai, which the organization began in 2015. PNGFA's Operation Painim Ground Naplanim Diwai is in response to the national government's Vision 2050 for the forestry sector to establish 800,000 hectares of forest by the year 2050. The MOUs enable the PNGFA to work closely with the communities to establish forest plantations. Since trees take longer to mature before their benefits can be seen, the PNGFA has embarked on a different approach in Operation Panim Ground Naplanim Diwai. Over the last 20 years, much of the developments in Enga province have been supported by revenue generated from the Porgera gold mine. This has allowed the province to implement successful programs, including the much talked about free education policy. However, the province is now looking to agriculture as its main money earner into the future. And it is doing so through the development of several agriculture projects, one of which was launched recently by Agriculture Minister Tommy Tomskol.
The village of Easipay in the Layagam area of Enga province came to life recently, with close to 7,000 people witnessing the launch of landmark projects for this area. A seed multiplication project together with a potato farming project, all initiated by the community at a cost of close to 2.5 million kina. Sem Talepakali, a Easipay local, had been at the forefront of these two projects.
Time we look potato, come up in big plus scale farming, you must get him seed. So first something you starting M1 plus seed based in Saloya.
According to Enga Governor, Chief Sir Peter Ipatas, these projects signals a new start for Enga province in its bid to become the food bowl of Papua New Guinea. He likened this new focus on agriculture as the start of a green revolution for Enga province.
This project is an example. Another project is starting now. All Israeli can start. Two project by work one time. Now, all the people belong Enga province.
Agriculture Minister Tommy Tomskol was on hand to officially launch both these projects.
God by blessing this Samu, and I hope that all the people in Papua New Guinea in the world one time, when they eat Samu and Samu alone, God will bless them too.
Whilst initiated by the community, these two projects had been supported in a large way by Fresh Produce Development Agency, FPDA.
Me harim samla talk osem. All potato long here, man. Walking one potato, enough come up 15 or 25 potato.
The launch of these two projects here in Easipay signal a new start for the people of this area in Enga province. They can now look forward to producing more potatoes for selling within the local economy, bringing much needed revenue to improve their livelihoods in the years to come. Merabatulo reporting from Easipay in Enga province for National EMTV News.
And now looking at our finance news, the kina closed unchanged at 0.3155 US dollars in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina was buying 0.3080 US dollars, 0.3991 Australian dollars, 0.2711 euro and 30.88 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold, coffee, cocoa, copra and copper closed the day higher, while palm oil and crude oil closed the day lower. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 164.7 points higher, the ASX is trading at 42.6 points higher, and the All Ordinaries is trading at 39.69 points higher. In the next segment, stories making headlines overseas, including FIFA's initiative to include youths in the organizing committee for the Under-20 World Cup. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the news. In overseas news, in Syria, the images coming out of Aleppo, the city reduced to rubble, are devastating, but the state-run news agency paints a dramatically different picture. We warn viewers some of the images are graphic.
A city in ruins. This is what we've come to associate with Aleppo. Entire city blocks destroyed. Graphic images of survivors of barrel bombs. The all too familiar images of Syria's second largest city after 5 years of civil war. But from Syria's tourism ministry, a totally different narrative of the city. This video appeared on its Facebook page, showcasing the green boulevards, swimming pools and century-old architecture of Western Aleppo, all set to the familiar soundtrack of a popular American TV show. The regime-controlled western Aleppo is home to about 1.5 million, while life for the more than 250,000 living in the rebel-held east seems a world apart, with devastation on almost every corner. It's a divide seen throughout many parts of Syria. This video was tweeted out by Sana, showing another side of the same city which has been at the centre of the country's civil war, mocking the perception of Aleppo as one of the world's most dangerous cities. The disconnect between the horror on the ground and the rhetoric put forward by the Syrian government and supporters like Russia is so glaring that for some it's becoming absurd. A sentiment perhaps best captured by US Secretary of State John Kerry, expressing his frustration over the broken ceasefire deal at the UN General Assembly.
I listened to my colleague from Russia, and I sort of felt a little bit like there's sort of in a parallel universe here.
But it's not the first time the Syrian government has been accused of misrepresenting life in the war-torn country. This video from the Tourism Ministry showing the Mediterranean resort of Tartus made headlines in August with its sleek productions and techno soundtrack. One of their latest videos shows a Christian festival in the city of Marlula, recaptured from rebels just last year, echoing the constant line that government-held Syria is a safe place for minorities. Damascus says it's not trying to lure foreign visitors with these glossy productions. Rather, they say they're targeting Syrian tourists. But for international onlookers, these scenes might seem tasteless from a regime accused of killing hundreds of thousands of its own citizens. But Syria remains a country of contrast, where the lives for some citizens seem night and day from the reality for others.
China has some bizarre media regulations that have created a blacklist of things you cannot do on TV. Popular shows like Game of Thrones and others are notorious for nudity and violence, but all that does not fly in China.
When the popular Chinese drama, The Saga of Wu Zetian, was abruptly pulled from the air in January of last year, the government said it was for technical reasons. But when the show was broadcast again, millions of fans immediately noticed something a bit different. Maybe you did too. The ever-present cleavage of female characters was gone, fallen victim to digital zooms and close-ups. Such is life in the world of Chinese media, where strict government censorship controls many things beyond just cleavage. New regulations say shows that promote Western lifestyles are no good. Quote, foreign-inspired shows are also a problem. Media reports say Chinese TV stations were warned to put South Korean projects on hold after a US-backed missile defense system was announced there, a move Beijing doesn't like. No shows featuring the children of celebrities are allowed either. This show, Dad, Where Are We Going?, did that. Now it's canceled. Plus, any displays of homosexuality are forbidden. An internet show about a relationship between two teenage boys was quickly pulled in February, despite getting 10 million views in just one day after its release. The following things are also banned: joking about Chinese traditions or, quote, classic material, sensationalizing private affairs, relationships, or family disputes, or putting stars, internet celebrities, or billionaires on a pedestal. You also can't show anyone drinking a beer, although to be fair, I can't do that on CNN either. You can't show anyone lighting up a cigarette. And finally, you can't show anyone traveling through time. Yes, even time travel can't escape Chinese censors.
To take us to Chukai Sports, the Urban Youth Employment Project will see 1,000 marginalized youth in NCD trained to join the FIFA Local Organizing Committee workforce for the Women's Under-20 World Cup. This initiative is the first of its kind for FIFA. Michelle Bird reports.
The Urban Youth Employment Project, a local-level government initiative by Governor Power Sparkop and Sports Minister Justin Chichenko, was established in 2011 with a budget of $17.98 million from various donors. It was initiated as a public intervention addressing both the economic problem of unemployment and poverty, as well as youth marginalization and crime in the city. The partnership with FIFA is a milestone for the youth project, which is continuing to train and empower the youth of NCD.
This is the first time in the history of FIFA for the World Cup to involve the marginalized youth, and we are all excited about the involvement of our project through the provision of the 1,000 manpower who will assist the organizing committee.
Pacifica Limited has been tasked with training and preparing the 1,000 youth to meet FIFA's standards and level of professionalism.
So our role is to take the youth from the Urban Youth Employment Project and physically manage these people all the way through the next 5 weeks, where we put them through a training program. We give them skills to be able to interact with the LOC department heads, and really it's all about just preparation of the 1,000 youth that we're getting the handover from today.
FIFA is known for leaving behind infrastructural legacies after international matches. Through this partnership, this will be the first time that FIFA leaves behind a human resource legacy through the Urban Youth Employment Project.
This is a good program for us because for FIFA, they also want to not only look at football, but they want to leave a legacy behind. So this engagement of this youth is really for us to leave a legacy behind, that FIFA came into this country, brought the World Cup, but they will also have left some young people trained, and mindset, they should have changed their mindset being part of this World Cup.
Today marks the official handing over of 1,000 youths from the Urban Youth Employment Project to the Football Association under FIFA. In the interim, the 1,000 youths will be trained by Pacifica Limited in preparation of the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup that is set to kick off on the 13th of November 2016. Michelle Bird, National EMTV News.
Chukai Sport is up next. Don't go away.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome to Chukai Sports. Lee the Flash Garup beat Thailand opponent Sakud Chayan to claim the WKBF World Welterweight title belt. In an entertaining match-up yesterday at the Lamana Hotel, both fighters delivered massive punches and kicks all through to the 5th round before Chayan was unable to continue after receiving a brutal kick to the knee.
Chayan has a fight record of 350 fights, while Lee only has a record of 142. The bout began fairly slow in the first round, both fighters throwing soft jabs as they weighed out their options. In the second round, Lee came in strong, delivering fast blows to the Thai fighter. Chayan fought back with quick kicks to the leg. In the third round, it was all Lee, as his lightning jabs kept catching Chayan off guard. Lee then started with hard kicks to the Thai's left leg and spinning head kicks that missed Chayan. In the fourth round, Chayan came in with explosive kicks that dropped Lee. But that would not stop Garup as he came back in the last 2 minutes of the round with hard kicks to Chayan's left knee. Both fighters were exhausted at the end of the fourth round. Heading into the fifth and final round, Lee seemed confident with his performance throughout the match. As the final round began, Lee took advantage of the limping Thai and went rampage, delivering massive kicks to the Thai's left knee. This would eventually see the former champion fall. Referee Jamugastom then called off the match, which saw Garup be declared the WKBF welterweight champion. Jelevet, National EMTV Sports.
In football, the 4 venue general managers appointed by the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup Local Organizing Committee departed today for Jordan. Footballer Emmanuel Popoitai and 3 women from the LOC will attend the Under-17 Women's World Cup in Jordan on a fact-finding mission. They will be away for 7 days.
As part of FIFA's commitment to involve more women in its administrative process in preparation for the World Cup, 3 of the 4 venue managers are women. The most senior of the 4, former women's international and coach Federica Saquet, had initially described her appointment as icing on the cake in her football career.
I am, I'll say, privileged for the trip that we are taking, and it's starting, but it is going to be very important for us, and we need to learn a lot of things over there in order when we come back, we do the same thing here. And
For Toka Kiniawa, the trip to Jordan will provide a valuable insight for her in how operations at the top level of football can be done.
It's an absolute honor, and we can only hope that we bring back the learnings and ensure that our teams deliver a world-class Under-20 Women's World Cup here in PNG.
Another of the 3 women managers, Grace Yohang Matayo, is also eager to learn as much as she can.
We are not there to tour, but we are there to learn as much as we can, grab that experience and bring it back into PNG so that we are able to deliver a world-class tournament.
Emmanuel Popoitai, a footballer with Port Moresby-based Rapatona FC, feels privileged for the opportunity given.
Doing as much as I can to ensure that we deliver this tournament in November.
The 4 depart via Asia and will return after 7 days. Jeremy Moggy, National EMTV Sports.
Trukai Sports continues after the break with basketball and last night's NRL Grand Final. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. After 50 years of title drought in Cronulla Sharks' rugby league history, last night's grand final win against power team Melbourne Storms was a long-awaited victory. Sharks prop Andrew Fifita's brilliant touchdown in the goal mouth after fighting off a wall of Storms defences in the 64th minute was the final act of the grand final that sealed the win for them.
Cronulla Sharks dominated early. The first half saw a lot of missed opportunities from the Melbourne side. A penalty was awarded to Sharks in the 6th minute after Marika Korebete high-tackled Chad Townsend. James Maloney's goal following the penalty gave Sharks a 2-point lead to 0. Ben Barber's try 6 minutes later after Paul Gallen's tactful scrum at the 10-meter line and a Maloney conversion increased the lead by 8 points. In the second half, a 64th-minute try from Storm's Will Chambers
with a charge. They're back in.
And a Smith conversion saw the Melbourne side at 2 points lead.
Chambers, he scores a grand final try.
5 minutes later, the New South Wales prop wrestled with 4 Storm defenders after freeing his right arm. The ball was grounded right under the Storm's goal mouth.
They've got the ball over the line. For
Storm's recovery efforts were pushed back by Sharks defences in the last 10 minutes until the buzzer went.
I'm just so proud of them. And what they did again tonight.
NRL witnessed history as the Sharks lifted the premiership trophy for the first time after 50 years. Dini Rose Raiko, National EMTV Sports.
In basketball, the under-18 men's and women's training teams were announced today at the Tarama Indoor Sports Centre. The 33 selected players, 16 men and 17 women, including 7 reserves, will go into training in preparation for the Oceania Championships to be held in Fiji in December.
Following the success of hosting the Under-18 Men's and Women's Basketball Championships, after 18 participating teams from around the country battled it out on the courts, Basketball PNG today announced its 33 Under-18 Men's and Women's squad for 2016. The squad, comprising 17 women and 16 men, including reserves, will go into training for the next 2 months in preparations for the FIBA Oceania Championships. Many of the players were selected from NCD Association, while a handful was selected from outside centres like Daru, Kerema and the Highlands region. Basketball PNG Executive Officer Joel Carlos said finalizing the selection was a tough decision because the standard of play was high and the games were close for both divisions, making it extremely difficult for the selection panel. He added, with the competition being tough, it only reflects how much talent PNG has in a particular age group. These players could quite possibly find a spot in the PNG side in the future. Meanwhile, Basketball PNG is preparing to host the Under-15 and Under-17 National Championships, followed by the Under-18 Oceania Championships to be hosted in PNG in 2018. Godwin Eki, National EMTV Sports.
And that ends True Kai Sports. The weather details when we come back.
True Kai Sports. True Kai Sports.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
Looking at the weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow in the southern region, brief showers in Port Moresby, Alotau and Popondetta, rain showers with thunderstorms in Daru, fine although partly cloudy in Kerema. In the Momase region, fine although cloudy at times in Lae, rain shower with possible thunderstorms in Medang, thundery showers clearing in Wewak and rain showers in Vanimo. In the New Guinea Islands region, rain showers with thunderstorms in Lorengau, fine although partly cloudy in Kavieng and fine weather in Kokopo, Rabaul, Kimbe and Buka. And in the Highlands region, rain showers clearing, then morning fog in all centers. Forecast for small ships for the next 24 hours. All coastal waters of Papua New Guinea, seas of 0.5 to 1.3 meters. Ocean forecast for PNG areas in the Coral Sea. Sea slide to patches moderate with northeast to southeast winds at 10 to 20 knots. In the Solomon Sea, sea slide to patches moderate with southeast winds at 10 to 20 knots. In the Bismarck Sea, sea slide with southeast winds at 10 to 15 knots. And in the Pacific Ocean, sea slide with southeast to southwest winds at 10 to 15 knots.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
Before we go, a recap of our main stories for tonight. Easipay finally reaches Manus. Correctional Service Workshop discuss challenges, and the longest serving police officer empowers women in the force. And that's how we begin another working week. From the news team, I'm Helen Seah. Pleasant viewing. Good night.